Hello, Facebookers. I am Dr. Tanisha Burke, Positive Discipline Parent Educator, and today I want to talk about raising our son, being mothers to sons. So this video is specifically for mothers who have sons and especially important for mothers who are single parent. So there are a few things that I want to share that I think is important when raising sons. One, this is a topic that can be controversial for some, but I still have to say it. As mothers, we cannot father our sons. I repeat, as mothers, we cannot father our sons. We can teach our sons how to treat a woman, what to expect from women, and so on. But there are certain life skills, there are certain ways of navigating the world properly as a healthy man that they cannot get from us. They get that from the men in their lives. At around when boys are leaving middle childhood, even if they don't consciously realize it, they start looking at men, how they walk, how they talk, how they interact with women, how they interact with other men. Now, if you're a single parent or a single mother and you don't have the child's father in your life, it is extremely important to have healthy masculine influence in your son's life. That could include maybe the spouse of your friend or family members, members of the community, members, for example, of the church. But mothers, when you're looking for healthy masculine men, it's also necessary to go with your instincts. If something is telling you that there's something off with a particular man, try not to you should not be going like, I need to find a man for my son as a living example. No. If you're seeing that something, feeling that something is off with a man, don't try to get that person involved in your son's lives. As it relates to, if you do have the opportunity, you can ask your male friends, colleagues, or family members when they're taking their sons out, whether it's to get their hair cut or to run errands and so on. Have them invite your son to go along with them. When he goes with, another man and his son, he will see how that man interacts with his son. He will see how that man interacts with others, whether it's women or other men, and that will give him an indication of who he's supposed to be. But unfortunately, mothers, we can't father our sons. There are just certain things that a man needs to show as a boy that we as mothers, we can intellectually tell them what it is, but it's important that they have healthy masculine role members of the community who can be an example to them. The second thing I want to talk about is, especially when you're a single parent and you're frustrated and you're tired and exhausted, you're more likely to resort to, some people call it spanking, hitting, beating your sons. Now, in a lot of traditional cultures, that's seen as the norm, but so many data now is showing that spanking your children have adverse effects. And when you look at it as for boys, it is the foundation for misogyny. It is the foundation for violence against women. These boys learn to understand that to communicate, to discipline, you must use force. And that is dangerous because we have to remember that we are raising somebody's husband, we're raising somebody's father. Now, if you teach your son discipline through violence, what is he going to do to the future woman of in his life? What is he going to do to his children, especially to his daughter? You're telling him through your interaction with him that discipline is through force. There are lots of alternative ways, for example, in the positive discipline aspect of teaching children logical consequences for their actions, of allowing children to learn the necessary skills so that they don't continue to do specific behaviors. A lot of times when we beat our children, or hits them, we're not teaching them the alternative. We're teaching them that that particular thing is not appropriate. But for mothers of sons, remember that we are the first woman they fall in love with. We're the first woman relationship he's going to have. Now, if his relationship with us is one of, it's antagonistic, it's violent, it's highly disrespectful to his autonomy to his body, what kind of man is he going to be? I remember having discussions with my son, and he said to me that if I were the kind of mother who hit him, he would grow up to hate women. I know that's an anecdotal example, but it got me thinking how many men grow up and have deep-seated anger for women because of the relationship that they had with their mother. Some of them may not even realize where that anger is coming from. As mothers, we are extremely powerful. We shape our children and we literally shape society. And I think a lot of times we don't understand the power that we as women and mothers have in this society. So if you're a parent who has been hitting your child and your child's behavior is not improving, or you might see that they might be compliant, but do you really want a child to be overly obedient and become an overly obedient adult? It would mean that it's easy for people to push him around, and that's not something that you would want for your son. So if you're struggling and you want alternative discipline practices, let's have a chat. In the description section, you will see that I have a link to book a complimentary session with me. Take advantage of it. The third thing I want to talk about is that a lot of us as mothers don't allow our sons to cry. The world is not necessarily a safe space for them. A lot of them have challenges with expressing their emotions. People tell them to man up, to stop acting like a baby, to stop your crying. If they don't have a safe space in our home to cry, where are they going to go? They can't do it in public. They will be ridiculed. Where does that anger go? Where is all that emotion and anxiety go when they're not allowed to release it through cry? It will come out, and a lot of times it will come out in a maladaptive way. So as mothers, it's extremely important that we create a safe space in our home. When our sons cry, don't ridicule them, don't tell them to man up, don't tell them to stop acting like a baby. Allow them to express themselves in a very healthy way emotionally. Again, you're raising someone's husband and someone's father. The next thing, the fourth thing I want to talk about is letting our sons go. And that involves giving our sons a lot more responsibilities. A lot of times we want to pamper our children, and pampering our children is not healthy because we're not preparing them to be capable human beings. For me, especially with boys, because they're going to be taking care of a family, we need to teach them to be more responsible. It means that we need to give them a lot more chores as they get older, masculine chores, fixing things in the home, emptying the garbage, that kind of thing, that will give them the opportunity to learn responsibility. Also, responsibility through failure. So many parents don't want their children, we don't want our children to experience failure, pain, and disappointment. My challenge to that is, then what kind of human being are they going to be when they're adults? Okay, we have to teach them that it's okay to fail. What are the lessons that they can learn from failure? How can they grow from failure? Okay, and a perfect example would be if they forget their homework at home. Fine, don't take the homework to school. Just don't do it. Let them experience the tension. They might fail the paper, the assignment. Allow them to fail, because what you're teaching your son is to time management, planning ahead, managing his materials well. And these are skills that are necessary in adulthood, especially when running or managing a family. So that's important. The next thing is giving them, nurturing their independence. I know, especially as single moms, we want to be overly protective of our sons. We're doing them an injustice. We're actually not, they're not benefiting from it. We have to learn to let them make independent decisions and also make them get the opportunity to be very decisive in their decisions. Because if we don't allow that, when they become adults, they are going to vacillate. They might be, it might be important for them to make a decision for the family that may even be a life and death situation, and they can't decide because we beat it out of them, or we save them all the time so that they do not know how to be independent. They don't have independent thought, and they don't know how to make this to be decisive in decisions that they're making. The final thing I want to touch on is, as in many cultures, as boys get older, they experience less touch. A lot of people, it is the thing, you don't want them to be effeminate, you want them to be strong, tough men. But our boys are still human beings like our little girls. They need touch. Touch releases dopamine in the body, and releases stress and that kind of thing. Still give your son a spontaneous hug. Still kiss him on the cheek, especially when he does something very masculine in the home. Tell him how much you appreciate the things that he's done. When you show appreciation to the things that your son will do in the home, it actually reduces the level of resistance in your child. So it means that you will also experience less resistance, and you don't have to worry so much about disciplining your son. So if you go to the supermarket and he takes the heavy bag, thank him. Tell him how much you appreciate that he's willing to help you out. Thank him for doing things around the home. Sometimes as parents, we think it's only children that's supposed to say thank you, but we can show our appreciation to our sons as well by thanking them, hugging them, kissing them, making them know that it's okay to be affectionate, and you allow them to develop a sense of empathy too when you're like that with them. So those are my tips, or my ideas rather, on raising sons, and especially for single mothers. I am of the view that there's so many things that boys learn from other men that we can't father our sons. If we don't have the father in the children's lives, then we have to make an effort to have examples in their lives. Also for you, you may want to contact me to discuss the challenges you've been having in attracting healthy masculine males in your life. There might be issues relating to your childhood that needs resolving, that we can work on healing, so that you can start attracting a healthy male or healthy man who will become a stepfather to your son, and who can be a healthy example to your son. So don't forget that as well, that you also need to work on yourself. But make sure that you don't violate your son's autonomy by beating on him. You allow him to emotionally express himself in the safety of your home. Your home should be a safe space, a paradise for him. Also, let him learn to be responsible, especially through his failure. It's very critical for his manhood, especially when he becomes an adult. So if you have any challenges in any of these areas, be sure to contact me in the contact information in the description section, and I will work with you to make sure that you are preparing your son to be a wonderful husband and father to his future children. Take care, and goodbye for now.